Hello and welcome back to Leicester's The Place with me, Jerry Taggart. And no, it's not Dan Bates. And hopefully it will not be Dan Bates ever again. Now, ladies and gentlemen, do we have an absolute legend for you today? Yes, we've been tracking him down for years. We thought he'd up sticks and moved back to his ancestral home, but no, we've managed to find him in a small village just outside of Leicester. He is, without doubt, one of the most talented players to ever put on the blue shirt of Leicester City. And I have pleasure in saying probably the most talented player I have had the pleasure of playing with. It is, of course, the one and only Muzzy Izzet. Muzzy, welcome to Leicester's The Place.
Thanks. Cheers, pal.
How'd you like that? Oh, and I forgot to mention my big sidekick.
You got halfway there.
Of course, the only man that I know that can put on half a stone in a lunchtime sitting. It is, of course, Big Muzzy Izzet.
Harsh but true, son. Harsh but true.
How are you, pal?
Yeah, all right, mate. Yeah, good.
Great to have you here, Muzz.
No, pleasure.
Yeah, how you feeling about?
A big drum roll there, mate. That was some intro.
Well, thanks, pal. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So we'll get into it.
Yeah,
Muzz.
yeah, let's go.
It's finished now. You can go now.
Yeah. Cheers.
Go on there, Matt. Do you want to?
Well, listen, it's great to catch up. We still see each other
Yeah.
socially. Not enough, by the way, is it? Like, we don't get together as often. Perhaps some of us would like to.
We've got a little thing planned, haven't we?
Yeah, occasionally. But nice to meet in a sort of like more formal, professional setting. We're going to grill you.
This could go
Grill
downhill very, very quickly.
Well, I'm prepared, mate. Let's have it. Let's go.
You're going to regret accepting this invitation. Not at all, mate. Quite the opposite. Just nice and relaxed and try and give Leicester City fans the opportunity to get to know you, the individual, a little bit more. They know you as a player, and you're up there as one of the favourites of all time, as Jerry says there. But have a little informal chat and talking about your time, life, and career.
Yeah.
So, Mustafa Kemal.
He's gone deep.
From East London.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that went down well in East London, believe it or not.
Say what?
Blimey. Well, if you can imagine, obviously, if you look at, back then I was really white, and teacher reads out the register, and what comes out of the teacher's mouth isn't John or Paul or anything like that, is Mustafa Kemal Izzet. And obviously trying to fit in as a young
bit of a
kid.
ribbon.
Oh, God, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. Because it's not normal, is it? It's not like to look at someone, you'd think it would be, like I say, just at least an East London name, a Cockney kid or whatever it is. But no, with obviously my dad being Turkish, he gave me
You got the dark hair though, didn't you? Like the dark.
Yeah, but he probably gave me the most Turkish name you can give anyone, and that's where he went. You can have that, and it was. Oh, listen,
Mehmet, your dad's name. Isn't
yeah, well, he's yeah, but Mustafa Kemal is named after he was the ruler of Turkey, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk.
Right. Okay.
So that's where the name comes from, and I was the first grandchild, so I got the whole lot.
Yeah.
The name, and everything,
All in one hit.
Oh, yeah, you can have that.
So
and that was
were you in the back of the class going?
Oh, God, yeah. Well, a lot of the time they thought it was Christopher because they couldn't work out Mustafa.
Right.
Because it was like, so they'd go, what's your name? I'd go, Mustafa. Christopher. And I'd be, yeah, all right, yeah.
Where is it? I'm
It's
keeping
all
that.
a bit funny down there anyway, doesn't
Oh, it is a little bit, yeah.
Chrissy, baby. And your brother's called Kemal.
Kem, he's Kem, yeah. I said, why did he say his name was Kemal Mustafa, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Switch it.
yeah, but they didn't.
You got double whammy.
I got double whammy, yeah. But proud of it.
And so your dad's Greek, Turkish Cypriot,
yeah.
and your mum's
She's just London.
London. All right. So
Just London, yeah. So it was, like I say, it was great. My childhood was fantastic. I had, it was just football, wasn't it? It's
Canning Town, was it?
No, I was actually from Bethnal Green. I was born in Mile End Hospital, and I lived on one of the most famous roads in East London, which was Valence Road, which is where the Crays lived.
Yeah.
So
Did you?
I actually lived in it, but the Valence Road looked different then because it was flats. I lived in a block of flats. There were still some terraced houses.
Yeah.
We lived in flats, and but it was on Valence Road,
Right.
where the Crays.
Wow.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
Official, verified Cockney.
Well, yeah, and being born in Mile End, the Bow Bells and all that sort of stuff. So I was, but Mustafa Kemal Izzet.
Yeah. Interesting mix going on, isn't it? But didn't get you didn't prevent you getting involved in things as a youngster. What sort of age did you get involved at a decent level playing football?
Well,
your brother plays as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he was obviously professional at Colchester. I think football was what helped me settle in and get people to become friends and stuff, and which football does. And from an early age, I just loved it, like we all did. Always playing in the parks and downstairs and on the green in the flats, and it just sort of built from there. And the first ever club I joined was a team called St Matthews, which across the road from the flats there was a big park called Weavers Fields, and I joined that, played there for a few years, and then I became just got the bug of wanting to play it I did every day.
Funny how you can remember so much about your younger days, isn't it? I mean, I know it's too long ago now for all of us, but it just imprints on your mind, doesn't it? As a young boy playing football, you can remember. I remember that teammates from back then, and
I'm still friends with some of my
exactly.
So am I.
Loads of different events. I can remember as much about my young football days as I can back into my professional
they're your happy days, ain't they? The most,
brilliant.
when you're most happy. And like I say, I just remember either playing football at school, coming home, playing downstairs on the green, and then going and play for my team. So it's football 24/7. School was like it sort of got in the way a bit, but football was all we ever.
You joined a pretty successl boys club, where I've never heard of them personally, but Senrab, and they had a lot of players from that team that made it to a professional level.
Throughout the year. So I joined Senrab, I think I was on the 12s, on the 13s. And if you went back, you had Ray Wilkins was there. He was, and then there was John Terry, there was myself, there was Bobby Zamora.
Addy come through, Addy Akinbaye.
He was my teammate.
Yeah.
So we was the same age. There's hundreds that you can go through. The West Ham striker played for Tottenham. He's a little centre forward. Got Defoe.
Defoe,
Defoe. There's loads. I forget most of them, but there's loads and loads that came through. But what it was because East London obviously is a big place, and there's a lot of teams in there. But all the best players seem to radiate to Senrab, and because it had a reputation. And it was a successful team. They won quite a few.
I think you get teams like that, don't you? Like when you were saying before we started chatting to Muzzy, in Ireland, you and Neil Lennon played the same team.
Who did you play for, Tony?
We played for a team called Lurgan Celtic, believe it or not.
Right.
When we first started, which then turned into Lurgan United. Because I think the guys that run it got fed up and wanted to play a bit of golf on a Saturday morning, so some other guys took it over and changed the name. But that's where we started. And there was a few other lads that made it as well from that team.
Did you have a big team called Dungannon?
Dungannon.
Was that a big club out in Ireland?
Not when I was growing up. No, they wouldn't have been.
You get like Walls End up in the north east, don't you?
Yeah.
There was my side of London was Tallagham Rovers. They were called. That's where.
Sounds very posh.
Well, it was more Surrey.
Was it Surrey?
Tallagham Rovers, rah. A few players came through the ranks there, but it works that way, doesn't it? But so going through from Senrab, and you probably played county and.
Well, no, you'd be surprised. I didn't play for my county, so school. We didn't really have a school football team neither. It was quite poor. But when I was playing with Senrab, then it was trying to get into my county team, which was Essex. I missed the trial,
right?
And they never then came and watched me play, or they thought I deliberately missed it. I think we was on holiday, and so I never played for. Yeah, no, I don't know where it was. But then, so I never ever played for my county. But what happened was when I was back then, there was scouts. It was probably the same when newspapers. Scouts were everywhere, weren't they? Especially they came to the better teams, and there was it was Chelsea, West Ham, Arsenal, Tottenham, Charlton, all the London clubs that was running. And then for some odd reason, Man United used to come down. So I think they was the sort of one of the first sort of clubs from outside of London that used to come down and sort of try. That's how David Beckham, yeah. That's how he. So he was
down your way,
same age, yeah. So he came through at the same time as me, but he was a massive Man United fan, and they got him quite early. I think about 12, 13.
Yeah.
And he went up there. But I started off at Cheltenham as a young kid.
Yeah.
That's where I started at Cheltenham. The manager was Lenny Lawrence was the manager at the time.
No.
Yeah.
Why do you hear the age difference? No, the reason I'm saying it like that is because that's the first pro club that I signed for, and Lenny Lawrence was the manager.
Yeah. So he would have been the first. He would have been the first team manager. I was 12, 13 at the time.
Yeah, that makes sense to be fair. So I signed that first year pro contract. You were probably at the club.
Yeah. It was there a training ground in the Valley or something? The training ground, what was it called? The Valley?
No, that was in Eltham. I can't remember what it's called, to be fair, but
anyway, so that's my very first pro club was Cheltenham. I went there. I was there for.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
What year was that? Just so you can.
Yeah,
I would have
been 12, 13. 12, something like that.
So 86, 87.
I'm 49 up, mate. Maths is
we'll work it out later.
86. So he would have been.
6 years, yeah.
You would have been
18, yeah. There we go. Oh, well.
So yeah, there's a possibility you two.
I was there for a good few years, and then a lot of them left to go to Chelsea for whatever reason, and I stayed because I thought Cheltenham was better for me, better pathway. You know, you sort of looked at it, and they actually offered me a contract, like a YTS back then.
Yeah.
They offered me a 2-year YTS. 2 years before, so it was 2 year schoolboys that I'd left, and then they was going to give me a 2-year YTS. So
at 16.
Yeah, so that would have been great. Do you know what I mean? I thought, yeah, that's great. And then Chelsea came in and offered me the same deal, but offered me a year's pro, and I was like, in hindsight, if I could take it back, I probably should have stayed at Cheltenham. And
difficult though.
It's a hard one, isn't it? But it's an hard one to say in hindsight because I just think the pathway. Because at Chelsea, the amount of midfield. Don't forget they was playing 4-4-2, so there's only 2 centre midfield players. The amount of centre midfield players they had Alan Dickens, Vinnie Jones, Andy Townsend, Nigel Spackman. Then they had people like Eddie Newton, Craig Burley. You know, there's 7.
Why is he not there then?
Why is he was on the wide? He was like wide left or wide right. So there's 7 centre midfield players, and you got only 2 spots. Do you know what I mean? It was like you think it was weird. They had a massive squad, but they seemed to be over thingy with centre midfielders. You know what I mean? It just made it hard to get through.
It's interesting you say that, and I think perhaps, parents as well, but youngsters listening to this, maybe take heed a little bit because. Like you say, that pathway that you chose, for obvious reasons, you want to play with Chelsea, right? And you think it was Glenn Hoddle was the manager, whatever, or
no,
maybe not at that stage.
When I first went there, it was Bobby Campbell, was it? Bobby Campbell was the manager, and then I think it became Dave Webb, who became the manager there. I might have it in the wrong order. Ian Porterfield was the manager there, and then I think it was Hoddle. As I was becoming an apprentice, and coming to the pro side of it, Hoddle became the manager.
But even a player like yourself, without being too kind to you, with the ability that you had, you found it difficult. We'll come to that in a minute, at Chelsea, because of the size of the club. People further down the line in their careers have found it difficult to break through at Chelsea.
I think there's a train of thought sometimes that if you go to the bigger clubs to begin with and it don't work out, there's a better chance of you finding a club at a different level on the way.
Like you said, you were offered a year's contract pro. So you're like,
it was massive.
Yeah, that was massive,
Massive
you
back
get chopped off at the end of your YTS sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. It was massive.
Problem is, though, if you go to a so-called bigger club now and you look at these facilities that we're in today and you get released from here and all the pros and cons that go with this is, the facilities are magnificent, you've got good coaching. You get released from here and you go to a lesser club.
Adjusting. Yeah.
That can be difficult, So there is pros and cons. Personally, like I say, I would always, anyone watching this, young kids out there, I would look at starting off at a smaller club, look at your pathway, and look at a realistic opportunity. Can I break through? And that's the way I would look at it.
That's sort of the point I was coming to, and I think Leicester's quite a good balance for that.
Yeah.
Really, 'cause you've got the facilities, you've got the opportunity, you've got the level, whether it's in the Championship or in the Premier League at whatever level you're going to be there, but you do have the opportunity to break into the first team.
Well, yeah, as long as you've got a manager that's giving youngsters opportunities like this club has. But there's other clubs that are just buying players, aren't they? You know, 20,
they
30,
do.
40 millions, and they can't. And you know what it's
Especially the big club.
And you know what it's like now. You know, a few bad results, managers get the sack. They can't. You know, they just need results, don't they? Can they trust a young 18-year-old?
Yeah.
Something gone.
Basically, it's worth considering, weighing
definitely
things up. You know, as a player and as a parent,
Yeah.
assessing the situation.
What was that like being around the likes of Vinnie Jones, Muzzy?
Mate, it
and
was
that?
brilliant. It was, yeah. So, like, their dressing
Down
room.
the King's Road as well.
Well, I didn't have that sort of money, but it was, you know, I was a young kid, a second-year apprentice or a young pro. People think, oh, you're a professional, yeah, but I was on 225 quid a week as a first-year pro, which that wasn't important. The fact that I was a professional and on the right pathway to try and get in someone's first team was what it was about. But they had a great atmosphere. Andy Townsend was brilliant.
He's a good lad.
He's a great bloke. He's on TalkSport. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
Ain't he? Vinnie Jones was class. David Rocastle there, great bloke. So Robert Fleck, do you remember Robert Fleck?
Yeah.
The squad they had, they were brilliant. You know what I mean? Every day they go in and their banter was fantastic. It was, you know, and the reserve teams that I played in.
Bit of an eye opener, isn't it?
Yeah, but the reserve team I played with Alan Dickens, Nigel Spatman was in midfield with me. We played in the free, and you could have David Rocastle on the right because he had a bad knee. So he couldn't play, but he'd play in the reserves. You had Flecky up front because he couldn't get in the first team. So you learnt a lot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You learnt a hell of a lot in that reserve team.
No, reserves a proper league.
Oh, mate, it was brilliant. Loved it. The amount you learnt.
Yeah.
It was great. And the teams you played against had senior players as well.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
You learnt against them.
Yeah, pretty much every week you're coming up against established, experienced players, weren't you?
Yeah, definitely.
So that was where you got... What age were you there playing in the reserves? Was it a slow progress?
It was slow for me as well, yeah. It took me a while to break it. Well, the truth of the matter is I got offered the pro contracts, and then the last minute, they weren't going to give it to me because they looked at my size, they looked at my strength. You can imagine me at sort of 16, leaving school. I was really small. They said, oh, yeah, good ability. But back then, South East Counties football was tough, wasn't it? It was physical, it was box-to-box and stuff like that. And the manager at the time was a fella called Dave Collier. He just didn't fancy me as a player. He wanted bigger players that could get forward and get in the box and beat set pieces and that. And they gave it to me because I had it in writing. So they had to give me that apprenticeship.
Yeah.
So they gave me the apprenticeship, and then within them 2 years, at 16, 17, 18, I started to develop. Dave Collier got the sack, and then the Welsh international midfielder.
He got the sack. Did you put the word out?
He became yeah, because like get rid of him. What's his name? Wales captain. He became the youth team manager. Nicholas.
Hang on.
I'll think.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Played for
Crystal Palace. Played Crystal Palace in Chelsea.
Go on then,
Yeah,
tell us then.
Oh, not
Centre mid.
Oh no.
Nichols, something.
Yeah, we'll get round to it.
He became the manager, and I thought, oh, he was a right. He was a right aggressive footballer. I thought he ain't gonna, because I just got into the team, like in the end of the first year. Dave College see something, thought, oh yeah, he's actually doing right. And then he got the sack, and then he came in, and I thought, oh no, he's an aggressive midfielder. He ain't going to fancy me. But he did. He thought it was all right. And then they offered me my 3-year contract, pro contract, halfway through my second-year apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I thought, oh right, great. Now I'm on the right pathway, and it started happening, sort of thing. Yeah. So
but no first team appearances.
no, none.
Did you go out and loan?
No, so I was playing reserves every week at about 18. Learning loads, learning off of the players that I was playing with, players against. And I started, I thought I was doing really well. And still not getting in the squad. And it took me to when I got to about 19 and a half, Hoddle then saw something and went, right, get in the squad. Started training every day with them, and then got on the bench. But that was about 2 subs, weren't it, back then?
Yeah, 2 or 3 subs.
Yeah, it seems weird to think, doesn't it?
Yeah, 2 subs. And we was playing West Ham at home, and I was on the bench. I thought, God, if I get on against it, it's like
West Ham as well.
Dream debut. You know what I mean? And Dave Lee got injured. He was actually playing centre midfield, I think. Or Eddie Newton, someone got injured in midfield. And Ruud Gullit was playing sweeper. Forget Ruud. Yeah, Ruud Gullit was playing sweeper at the time. His best ever play I've ever seen.
Yeah, how good was he?
He was unreal. Yeah, he was unreal. And he called over to the bench, put Muzzy on. And I was like...
I can't believe you just dropped that in.
No, but he did. Or did I dream that?
Ruud Gullit. What you? Get Muzzy on.
Get on, son. No, I'm sure he did. He put Muzzy on because I was the other midfield player.
We're 8-0 up. Put Muzzy on.
Well, no, we was 0-0. And Hoddle didn't. I think he put himself, I can't remember how he done it, but he put someone else in midfield, and I thought...
Hoddle and Gullit.
I can't remember. No, Gullit stayed at the back. And then I just thought after that, God, maybe this ain't gonna work, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I went in after a few weeks and said, look, is there any way I can get out on loan and try and get a little bit of experience? You obviously don't quite fancy me to put me in. For whatever reason, I like to try and get out on loan and do something. And a few weeks later, I heard nothing. And then he went, oh, look, we've got a club. And that was...
It's a natural way, I suppose, isn't it? You know, it makes sense. And these days, sometimes lads don't go on, even think about going out on loan to like 20, 21, 22, do they?
Yeah.
A little bit older, aren't they?
I was actually glad to come away from the club because I'd been there for so long.
Yeah.
And try something different and come out of my comfort zone and come up to the Midlands. Didn't know what to expect. Didn't know too much about Leicester, to be honest. But Martin O'Neill saw something, and I thought, yeah, let's give it a go. You know what I mean?
Didn't you say? I seem to remember us having a chat about your time at Chelsea. I mean, you just mentioned there like Ruud Gullit.
Yeah.
Doesn't come much better than him. I remember him marking me.
Right.
I was playing for Leicester, and just looking at it, and I was like, trying to work out how this had happened.
Yeah.
Are you put on?
I'll pick him up. I was thinking, like he's bothered about what
He's
I
a good
do.
bloke, Muzzy.
Great
Ruud.
He had that much influence. The training ground was terrible, believe it or not.
We used to, Northern Ireland used to train at Chelsea.
Harlington, yeah.
Because we
Near
used to get the
Heathrow.
flight out.
Yeah,
Right.
it was right near Heathrow. It was a terrible training ground. At 11 o'clock every day, Concorde would take off. You could not hear. Honestly, it was a nightmare. But anyway, Ruud Gullit turns up. I think he'd just won the Euro. He'd just won something, and he comes to Chelsea, and he obviously hadn't seen the training ground. And he's obviously thought, what is this? Didn't even have a bath. Didn't even have a bath. He got them to fit a bath in for him, just for him, within a couple of days, so he could have a bath after training.
But he did and all.
Yeah.
He used to come sauntering out the back, didn't he? He was playing.
Oh mate, he
was
the first person I saw in real life that made football look easy. He was like,
and he was 6'4" as well.
Yeah. Quick.
He would get. I think I told you this. I think Dave Besant was the goalkeeper. He'd roll it out to him on the edge of the box because he was sweeper. He'd take the centre forward on. You know, it was unheard of back then, weren't it? You know, he'd take the centre forward on, go into midfield, play a little 1-2, go through midfield, and then have a shot.
Yeah.
And then just walk back. Honestly, that's how he played every week, but it was class.
Different gear. And then Hoddle.
Yeah.
Similar level.
Yeah.
Didn't you say, I remember you telling me a little bit about, he was like, well, what I'm looking for you to do is, and he'd go outside of the left foot half volley.
Oh, he'd have training sessions.
There you go. And everyone's like, well
he could do anything with the football, left foot, right foot. He'd do like keepy uppies with his outside of his right over his head, or outside of his left over his head, and he'd do, he'd expect you to be able to do all that because he could, and obviously most of us couldn't. Yeah. But he'd play reserves as well, and you'd learn loads off him. Not that we didn't see eye to eye. He just didn't at that time think that I was ready, and you sort of go, you know what, I need to go elsewhere then.
Didn't want to take a gamble on you.
Oh, obviously not.
Have you seen him since?
No,
Has he
no.
never bumped into him, or
I haven't, to be fair. No, I'd be interested to see what it.
see if he thought, yeah, maybe I should have stuck with
Oh,
you?
well,
or-
I don't know. Well, they tried to sign me back, but he'd already gone. He was the England manager by then. So,
Chelsea tried to sign you back, did they?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they wanted me to go on a free transfer. That was the difference.
Right.
I had a year left on my contract, so I would have gone into the last year of my contract at Leicester,
Right.
and they wanted to.
Bosman had kicked in, yeah.
They wanted to take me on. They wanted to take me, but I was like, I didn't know if I wanted to go back into that environment of not.
Same scenario.
You know what I mean? I just didn't feel.
Starting to move through the gears,
Starting to
then,
move
weren't they?
forward, yeah.
I know Chelsea as a club were starting to move through the gears money-wise
yeah, exactly,
as well.
yeah.
Big hitters.
You want to go in there, you think to yourself, I'm playing every weekend, you go there, but then they sign Frank Lampard. Do you know what I mean? And that's sort of, they're probably one of their greatest ever signings, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
You never know, mate.
Yeah.
You never know.
So you come to Leicester. Do you remember your first meeting with Martin O'Neill?
I met him I'd already signed on at Chelsea, like to
Usually
sign on loan.
alternative, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then I went up. I'm not seen him, not spoke to him.
Wow.
Went up. I'd met Steve Walford at Cockfosters Station because I didn't drive at the time either.
Yeah.
So I had to get a train to Cockfosters from East London, which was an hour, to jump in his car, and he took me up. He took me down the M1 to Leicester.
Did Wally live down there, didn't he?
Yeah, he lived down there. So I met him, drove up, didn't know what to expect. You know, Wall's a great bloke, wasn't he? You know, he's you're going to love it here, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, okay, mate, yeah. Then gone out to train, looked at the training ground, the training pitch. It was like, because it would have been January, February time, I guess.
Yeah, coming on loan.
So like winter had kicked in, the training, you know what it's like. Would you have seen it when it was really bad? You was there then, weren't you?
I signed the next January.
Yeah, so there weren't a blade of grass on the pitch. It was, and he just came over and said, look, thanks for coming. You'll have a good time. And that was it. And
Wow.
It was pretty relaxed back there.
yeah, it was a bit, that was it. You'll have a
Just
great
got
time.
dropped in there, didn't you?
Yeah.
You go.
Yeah, and you go. And I did, you know, it was, but that was, I loved that. I thought, you know, I didn't have time to worry about anything. It was like, go on, son.
Just go out there
Go
and
and do
play.
it, yeah.
So you came for was it a month's loan?
Come for a month's loan. The famous Sheffield United game where there was all calling for Martin's head, sack him and all that. I'd come on as sub.
He's been in here and he's spoken about that game.
Did he?
By the way, yeah, he did one of the podcasts and he mentioned that game, didn't he?
Well, that was my debut.
Yeah.
That was my debut, yeah. I came on as sub. We was losing, I think we was losing 2-0 or 2-1. I can't quite remember. But they want new signings, the crowd and all that. And then I come on. No one's ever heard of me.
Yeah.
And they're like, and
Who's this kid?
And we lose 2-1. And then after the game, I think he had a meeting with some fans, didn't he? And they sort of said, we want you to leave or whatever it was. And
Yeah, he lost, was it 7 on the trot or something ridiculous?
He didn't have a win in his first 8 games or something like that.
Yeah.
8 or 9 games.
Not that it sticks in his mind that much,
No.
to be honest.
Or what his wife and kids told him in the car but afterwards.
Yeah, he remembers
Really?
everything.
Oh, yeah, he told a story about his wife, Geraldine, saying something like, you know, that quick Irish wit, basically.
yeah. And then
remember that.
Yeah, and then we had, from there, that next game, I think, was Charlton away on a Tuesday night. I think they was flying at the time, and we beat them 1-0. And that was my full debut. And then we had Crystal Palace away on the Saturday, and we beat them 1-0. And then we just went on this...
You ended up playing in
then,
the playoffs.
And then went on this run of sort of winning. I think we only lost one.
Yeah, because you got sort of out of the running.
It was well out of it, yeah. And then we just came, you know, like one team always does, don't it? Just came late.
So talk about that loan spell then, Muzzy. So it was initially a month, and then it got extended for
another month.
Another month,
yeah,
and then
and that was it. So and then what Martin had said was, well, we really want to sign you, but we could do with going into the Premier League and getting some money in bits and pieces because Chelsea had some sort of sell-on clause of X amount of money. I can't remember how much it was. And I was like, God, if we don't go up, I've got to go back to Chelsea. and go through all that again. Do you know what I mean? And then Rudolph became the manager.
He did.
Rudolph became
After
plan
Huddle.
manager. Yeah.
That's right.
And I thought, I don't want to go back to that environment. If we can go up and they sign me, it'd be great. You know what I mean? And
Perfect scenario.
it was perfect. Yeah. Luckily, yeah, something worked well for me.
Yeah.
So you play in the playoff final.
Played in the playoff.
What do you remember about that experience?
I couldn't believe I was playing at Wembley Stadium. I literally couldn't believe it. I was like, it was a childhood dream to.
You won the penalty, didn't you?
I did win the penalty, yeah. But it was like, I just remember walking out thinking, I can't believe I'm here. I do remember that because only 2 or 3 months ago, I was playing in front of one man and his dog at Kingstonians in reserve.
90,000.
And now it's 85 or 80,000, whatever it was. I thought, God, this is amazing. And yeah, the actual game itself, I think we felt confident. We'd already beat Palace leading up to it, but they took the lead. I managed to get a penalty. Park scored that, and then Claridge scored that famous shinner. Yeah, from the edge of the box. But yeah, and then that was it. It was like party time.
Did you get a feel at Leicester? Like, I certainly did, and I think most players did. But it was like, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it, but Raggy Arse Rovers, basically, wasn't it?
It was like a pub team, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, you just mentioned characters there. Gary Parker, he's not your everyday professional footballer, is he? No. Claridge certainly isn't. And you've got Lenny and Jamie Lawrence was about. He's a bit of a boy, isn't he? There was characters from all walks of life. Scotty Taylor, all there in the melting pot. And Casey Keller came along, and it was a whole mix, isn't it? A diverse mix, wasn't it?
But I think we all had something in common, didn't we? I didn't quite fit in at Chelsea. Maybe Lenny needed to leave Crewe and
Misfits,
Parks.
not a bad shout.
Yeah, it was like we sort of, but somehow we all sort of gelled together.
Yeah.
And we all had that same mentality, didn't we? We was all like, we came from an era where you went out after a game and had a few beers and you socialised. And I think that brought us closer and closer together. And I think that's probably why we got some of the results we did, you know?
Yeah. Do you think it was a...
He never went out, Moz. He wasn't allowed out.
He was never allowed out, no.
I didn't go out.
I went out too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went out. I did go out.
Out. Yeah.
I saved it up. But you were saying to Martin, asking him before, do you think it was like a conscious thing from him, or it's just how it sort of worked out, didn't it? You know, did he go almost like a bunch of scallies, weren't we? Like,
I think even the Forest team that he played in, Brian Clough, I don't think he didn't mind it, did he? No. I think it was same sort of, back then I think it was, even the great Liverpool teams did that, didn't they? They had that camaraderie, they had that drinking culture. Man United teams did, and Arsenal teams did. I think we were just brought up in that era of where it was acceptable.
A lot of players had a point to prove, didn't we? In one way or another, or hunger. You know, because your story, what you're saying there. And, you know, I came in, I was 28. It was now or never for me at the Premier League. You know, do or die sort of thing.
And come from Bolton.
Bolton, yeah.
Yeah, tags were not so much a point to prove, did you? But
well, I'd more suffer from injuries.
Yeah.
Just trying to get a run in games and a team for a change.
Yeah.
Because every time I did well, I got injured. Well, it was more my ankles back then, and then my knee went. So.
Yeah, but Gups coming up.
Yeah, Gups coming from
me, late opportunity at a high level.
Lenny from Crewe.
Yeah, Lenny and Savron, you know, make their way, forge a reputation.
But the one thing that we had, and I think what Martin always wanted, regardless of what talents you had for the team, it was about working hard on the pitch, weren't it? And it was like that work ethic was really important to the gaffer, weren't it? You know, with and without the ball, organised, know your job, kept it quite simple with his, say, tactics and stuff. And everyone just knew exactly what was expected from them. There was no grey area.
I thought he let people naturally do what
they were good at.
They were good at anyway. Didn't ask.
It's when you tried to do something you weren't good at.
Yeah, didn't want, exactly. Didn't want to, what are you doing? Just
there was never.
Whatever it is you're good at,
went out.
Stick to that.
I thought I never went out on that pitch confused. I knew exactly what my role was. And
absolutely.
That's how it was, wasn't it?
Yeah. Simple but effective.
Do you remember any run-ins with Martin where you didn't quite do exactly what you need.
He was one of the golden boys.
I know he was, but I'm just thinking, was there on any occasion where Martin might have flipped his lid?
Well, he reined me in because I was going out with Neil Lennon and Scott Taylor too much. At one stage, so he said, listen, he got all three of us in.
Is that when Scotty injured himself, being out?
I can't remember, it was exactly that time, but he got us in, look, you've been seen out and about, blah, 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 blah. Rein it in a little bit. Them two went out, and then he kept me because I was the youngest.
A couple of terrors, them two.
Because I was the youngest, listen, I don't mind you having a beer, but come on. Blah, blah, blah. It was that sort of thing. Him and John Robertson was in the meeting. Stop drinking. John Robertson, great bloke.
Yeah, that's a contradiction.
Yeah. But no, it was like, just rein yourselves in a bit. Big games coming up. Yeah, that sort of thing. And then I think when I played against, the game that Walsh scored the goal against Arsenal when it was 3-3.
Yeah.
He dragged me at half time. I think it was half time or just after. Yeah, or just after. Well, Vieira was just running through me, weren't he? And he was like, "You're everywhere the ball ain't." You know what I mean? He's like,
where the ball should be.
Yeah, where the ball should be. And he dragged me off. But no, it was, I think he saw it that the three of us in the midfield were hard working. He liked that, didn't he? He liked people working hard for the team and stuff. So I was one of the lucky ones. But I think his favourite was Gups, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. Gups was the golden boy.
The golden boy.
You were
Then Emile.
assistant.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Emile as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not going to argue with that, are you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Him and Lenny used to clash, didn't they?
I can remember
Hate
an incident where you might have got a telling off, Muzz.
Oh, yeah. That was in the back of my mind. Yeah,
I initially got the blame for it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I didn't want
to remember it.
I didn't want to bring that
You weren't on the trip.
That was from La Manga, wasn't
La Manga 2.
Oh.
La Manga 1.
La Manga 1, yes.
And there was a picture of us coming out of Heathrow Airport, and my face is at the side of the window, and there's two fingers being stuck up.
I remember.
And then it's in the paper, it's in the Mirror or the Sun or something. And Martin gets me in to his office. And I remember it to this day, and he's like, he just slaps the paper down on his desk.
It did look like tags.
Yeah, I remember seeing the picture.
And he's going, I suppose you're going to tell me it wasn't you. with my face and two fingers up in the window. And I'm going, yeah, I am. It wasn't me. And so he goes, who was it? I says, well, I'm not telling you. He says, I'm no grass. I'm not telling you, but I'm telling you it wasn't me. I promise you it wasn't me. Went back down to the dressing room.
Camera never lied.
He came out to the training
on the
pitch and said, right, who did this?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, it was because I was like that behind tags, and I was like, no, it was me, Gaffer. Blah blah blah. I can't remember what.
Do you not remember what he said there?
I can't remember.
No,
I can't quite remember. Something like you idiot, you know what I mean, or whatever.
Tomahawk.
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember if he fined me or what. He probably fined me or something like that.
The thing was,
the
next day, he called me into the office again. There was another picture of me. Sat down with £10, £20 notes stuck to my face, and again he went, suppose you're going to tell me that wasn't you.
That was you, that one.
2 days running.
Yeah.
Oh,
did he find you?
No, I got away with it because I was just enjoying myself.
Having a game of cards, wasn't you?
Yeah.
Just enjoying myself. I wasn't doing anything wrong. I didn't let a fire extinguisher off.
The stress you go through as a manager. So
have you got any games, Muzzy? Apart from, obviously, you said about your first time playing at Wembley. I suppose, like us all, once you walk out at Wembley, it's like...
Yeah.
It's the Mecca, isn't it?
It was,
But any other games that sort of stand out for you at your time, Leicester? Any goals? Because I can remember a few unbelievable goals that you scored. But obviously, I want you
to... I think, I suppose the very first goal I scored for Leicester was to get us into the playoffs when we beat Watford 1-0. And that was my very first ever goal.
Wow.
And I remember that like it was yesterday. Didn't really get involved in the game that much. I played wider. But I found myself in the box. It was a bit of a scuffle. The ball come across and I just reacted and headed it and it went in. I was like... So that was my first goal. So I remember that. I remember the Tottenham goal.
That's the one.
Yeah.
They still show that at King Power every week.
Yeah. And that was the day they was all holding up the Martin O'Neill
Yeah.
stay signs, weren't? Because he was being linked with
That was
Leeds.
the Monday night
Leeds,
football
Was it
game.
Leeds? It was Leeds, wasn't it? Yeah.
When I got dragged at halftime.
Did you?
Yeah. But enough about that. But yeah, that's one of the goals I remember.
Yeah, and
that was a great.
strike. Yeah.
And I suppose the European game at Filbert Street, where there was a few penalties that maybe I could have had, played one of the better games, I suppose. Yeah, there was loads, weren't there? It's, going to Anfield and winning, or going to Old Trafford and winning.
Leeds got a good goal against.
Leeds, to be fair.
Liverpool.
Yeah, it was just
after Heskade moved. That was a bit later on. That was post Martin O'Neill era, but you scored a second goal, I think it was.
Yeah, you
you
brought it down and played Minge, remember?
Yeah.
Went up. We just throw you up front, didn't we? Last 10 minutes.
I was just slow getting back.
Yeah, but I just started playing at them grounds. Tottenham away was a great place to play, weren't it? Newcastle.
You scored 2 that day, didn't you?
Yeah, and you got the other one.
I got the last one, but you scored 2.
Yeah, did yeah.
Did you get that film as I pretty much know you did, but we did collectively, didn't we? But also within your little section, i.e. the midfield.
Yeah.
Whether it was you, Lenny, and Parks initially, then it became Sav more in there as well. But did you feel like pride and excitement, sort of thing, going up against the big hitters, supposedly, for want of a better phrase?
Yeah.
And going up there, and whether it's the Scholes and Keane or Gerrard and Redknapp, or and Vieira and Petit.
Yeah, I think they
not too much pride there. It was just a matter of hanging in. But
the Vieira and Petit one was because they were so big as well, weren't they? They was built like centre backs, weren't they? But they was athletic and they was skillful and they had they had good ability. So you knew you had to have your A game going out there against. You had to be really switched on. And even that sometimes weren't enough. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So,
not against them, but against other Premier League teams. You were going out, not only matching them though, but like as a trio, you were like dominating in that area as well.
Yeah, I think it's because we had a good mixture, didn't we? But what we all had, we had good legs, didn't we? We could all get about
Apart
the pitch.
from Parks.
Well, but what Parks...
That was a different time,
but what Parks didn't have, he had better than all of us, didn't he? He had that great passing range. He was a great player, Parks. You can imagine him like being really mobile.
With legs, under a cap.
Can you imagine him with great, being able to run around like Sav or someone like that? It'd be like amazing, wouldn't it? But we sort of all worked well together, didn't we? Whether Parks came on or he started, and then there was me, Sav, and Lenny. Don't forget Scott Taylor was there as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he got a few bad injuries on his knees. But yeah, we sort of formed that. The three of us formed that trio of don't let these. We need to dominate this midfield. You know
That's what I always remember. Like you've just said, Matt, was apart from say 2 or 3 teams that had world-class midfielders.
Yeah.
You knew you were going into every game giving yourself a chance of winning because we had a great engine room.
Yeah.
The midfield was
outworked the opposition. Yeah. And then it weren't just runners though. Lenny keep it all day long. Yeah. Because you do a little wriggle and something.
Sav would just upset everybody.
Sav had his quality as well, didn't he? Yeah.
I think what we did well was we figured out with us three, Gups, and whether it be Imps on the right or whether an Emil or Claridge or whether we worked the press. We actually pressed quite well. We sort of figured that out. Then without really working on it too much, we sort of figured out that if we can press high, because we knew the strengths of our back.
Emil could set that off, couldn't he?
And Emil's pace and everything else. And days when that used to work, the one that stands out the most would have been Derby, wasn't it? Derby away, when we sort of, within the first 20 minutes, we sort of just overrun them. I just remember that, and 4 headers, weren't it?
Yeah.
4 headers. And I just remember that game thinking that's probably as good as it gets with the midfield side of it. Emil working well up front. But we did pride ourselves on trying to get the better of other teams' midfields. And like I say, when you played against the best teams, it was tough because they just had more possession, didn't they? And when you have more possession, you're running around too much. And 70 minutes, you...
Yeah, the big hitters, it was tough even for you boys in midfield, but I can remember a number of times speaking to the lads after a game or supporters or whatever, and they go, oh, yeah, 'cause they used to think we work hard, or you boys in midfield work particularly hard. But they were like, oh, you can play a bit, can't you?
Yeah.
As a team, and yourself in particular. Like say Lenny keeping it, we had some good players in there as well.
Yeah,
I think people were surprised that how much football we could play at times.
Yeah, Martin never really, he never wanted us to play out from the back, did he, really? It was like, right, let's go and play in there half.
Get it at the head.
Get it and hit it. We didn't have the best pitch in the world to be able to do it on for a start. I suppose we never really worked on it. A lot of teams didn't. We played to our strengths. We knew that if we got the ball in the final third, we can cause a little bit of chaos up there. And that was our strength, weren't it? That was how we sort of set ourselves up. Set pieces with use for it at the back. We was fantastic, defending, attacking. There weren't many better than you three at that, was there? The amount of goals that you scored.
Well, we had some lumps, didn't we?
You know what I mean? The amount of goals you scored from set pieces and stuff. And the defending side of it, we didn't hardly concede from set pieces.
You moved up to the area, Muzz, as well. You're well and truly cemented.
Yeah, my roots. I've lived in Leicester longer than I have in London.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, same myself. I don't know whether I don't know. There's something about the club, or is it just timings because the kids have been brought up here and whatever, and you end up staying, don't you? But a lot of players tend to stay here after their careers, don't they?
Well, yeah, I love where I live. You know, 3 kids all born in Leicester, load of friends here. Wife's made load of friends. Why would you move? Would you go back to London? And London's not certainly where I'm from.
Yeah,
ain't the type of place, or ain't the same as what it was when I was there as a kid.
No, not at all.
Things have changed, isn't it? So that's why I stayed around.
It worked out well at Leicester, though, didn't it? Like you say, with trophies.
I think Leicester is one of them clubs, especially back then, and even so now, where if you get yourself in the team and you do well, you don't really want to leave that. You know what I mean? No. Like all 3 of us have had chances of moving on.
True.
Certainly you know, back after Martin left, there was rumours of you wanting to get transferred. It was seemingly every week.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, you didn't leave until the inevitable.
No, I didn't really want to leave Leicester. When Leicester was not trying to sell me, but I was looking at it. They were looking at it, going like, I was thinking, can I get into that next level, like that tier of Champions League football?
Yeah.
And that was my next ambition, you know, to try and cement myself in that, try and get there. Because I don't think we didn't have the resources at Leicester to ever get to that level.
I don't blame you for thinking that.
No, it was that sort of thing. But
that capability to go.
Well, yeah, but it never happened, and then it became, like Tag said, I was being linked with this club, that club. Middlesbrough. I went and spoke to them, I went and spoke to Middlesbrough, Blackburn, spoke to Graham Souness.
There's a whole host of clubs, isn't there, through the years? Yeah,
there was a few that, but like I say, the Birmingham one was a weird, I really liked Steve Bruce when he came around. I had a chat with him. It was, he reminded me of Martin O'Neill, to be honest. He was that sort of bloke, quite open and honest, and so just weird how it sort of not fizzled out, but it was obviously Leicester was in a situation where we got relegated again the second time.
Yeah,
you played. We was all there in the Championship, weren't we? We was all there in the Championship when we came up. And then we got relegated again, didn't we?
First time, and then we got relegated again.
And the contract ran out, and then that was that.
Yeah, everything sort of changed around that period. The old guard and all that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it changed a lot, didn't it?
Time to move on.
Yeah.
So you played in 3 cup finals?
Yeah, 3 cup finals.
Mm.
What do you remember about?
I don't think I played well in any of them. I can't remember having a good. Didn't I particularly have a good game against Tottenham? It weren't a great game.
None of them were great games.
No, the Middlesbrough game weren't particularly great. I was better in the replay. I think, at Sheffield Wednesday. Tranmere.
Do you think that was the experience of playing at Wembley, or
I don't know.
in a different kind of atmosphere?
Talk me through that. We can laugh now.
What, that sitter
Oh,
from
God.
6 yards?
Were we 2-1 up
No,
then?
it wasn't that. It was the first touch. My first touch.
You of all players, your first.
I
touch
was
has been
already
top-notch
celebrating
all
when I was
season.
already celebrating. Not celebrating, but I thought I'm going to score.
Yeah,
Because I remember the
everyone in
ball coming to
stadium
me.
thought
I've
so.
only got to touch it and stick it in.
Exactly.
And I thought,
It's like, not Muzzy, surely.
honestly,
I
I
couldn't
did.
believe it.
Honestly, I thought I'm going to score at Wembley.
Yeah.
Boing, ding. I was like, oh no, I ain't.
That was 2-1 then as well, wasn't it? That would have finished it off.
That killed me. That really spoiled the win for me.
Oh dear.
Big Mac comes with 2.
Yeah, well, to be fair, even though I get recognition for that final, I scored the 2 goals, I don't think I played particularly well that game.
It was a grime, wasn't it?
Yeah. No one played amazingly.
We was expected. It was the only game, one of the only games. Well, we weren't expected to win most games, were we? But we was expected to win that final.
Well, the
weren't we?
one I thought we were just as definite winning. The Tottenham game, like
When they went down to 10 men.
we fancied ourselves. Like,
Yeah,
even though they
yeah.
had
We
all
always
the
had a
big names.
good thing against Tottenham, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. We beat them before. We beat them after, not long after at White Hart Lane, I
Poor
think.
game for us, though.
And it was one of those days.
Crap game, wasn't it?
Made us doubly determined though against Tranmere.
Yeah.
Come on, don't let this slip.
Yeah, I agree.
Even though you did your best to cock it up.
Yeah, that'll stick with me, that chance.
Yeah.
So it was your first touch, you didn't...
No, it's my
thought
touch.
it was great, yeah.
I miscontrolled it.
Yeah.
I was like, no. Because I was already looking up to see where I was going to put it.
Oh, yeah.
And the ball just got away. I was like, no.
Oh,
I know.
And Emile missed one as well, didn't he? I think as well. Missed a good opportunity.
yeah, we had a few, didn't we? We had a few. Got there in the end.
So what was it like there, Muzz, at Wembley, walking up, getting your
mate,
winner's
that was
medal, lifting the
brilliant.
trophy?
It was like amazing. It was just like you, as a West Ham fan, I remember Trevor Brooking doing it in 1980 against Arsenal.
Yeah.
Or it was, I just remembered Trevor Brooking's goal, sorry. I think it was Billy Bonds.
Shouldered it in.
Billy Bonds was the captain. I'm sure it would have been captain. Yeah, Trevor Brook. It was Alan Devonshire down the left, chips it across, Brooking diving header. And I just remember thinking, I'd love to be able to do that. And then you're there, you know what I mean? How many years later, you think, wow, it's what it's about. It's what, you know, it's not about, it was never about the money when you're growing up, was it? It was never about that. It was like, you want to replicate what you see on telly. And that was how I always looked at it.
Yeah, just slightly rewind a little bit, say winning the cup final, but the playoff final there as well, that must have been, like you said, jumping there, playing from one man his dog to 80,000, then you're climbing up the steps. And
I was like, God, I was like, sort of, right, got to get myself together a bit here. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want it to overwhelm me. Do you know what I mean? Because it can, can't it? You sort of, should I really be here? Do I deserve to be here? And blah, blah, blah.
it seems surreal, isn't it? Because
you doubt yourself.
you just come on loan. It's not like you've gone through the season with the club. You don't know the boys that well.
And I was playing on the left. I think I was playing on the left at the time because Walshy hit that ball down the line like one of his channel balls.
Yeah.
Left footer, and it sort of took me into the box.
Banana ball.
Yeah, banana ball. It took me into the box. I took a touch, and I can't remember who the fella was. He came lunging in, didn't he? And it was like, just let it.
Don't say much for you to go
No,
down.
the old swallow dive straight over the top. Yeah, no, but then and to win it, it was amazing. I remember the journey back home, back to the Sketchley Grange. It was just like magical moment that you sort of.
I could tell a few stories at that hotel, couldn't it?
Sketchley
You
Grange.
certainly could.
Is it still there?
I assume so.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, again, I think that was that club tradition, or was it Martin who instigated that?
Well, he was
Booking it.
quite superstitious, weren't he, Martin? I think. I think
Yeah.
he'd like to do the things the same, stay at the same hotels, and that sort of.
Win or lose, there was going to be a do, wasn't there? Or even.
Yeah, even when we lost to Tottenham, we went there. I'm sure we did.
Yeah, it did, and also.
We did.
Well, even in the replay with Middlesbrough,
We went back.
I had not long joined the club. We went back there, even though the replay was only a few days later, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like the Wednesday, everyone's partying and revelling.
Well, I was going to ask you, do you remember the trip back after the 2000 Cup final, Muzz? Because I do.
2000, so that would have been against
Tranmere.
Tranmere one, yeah.
You remember the bus trip back to the Sketchley?
Yeah.
Bottle of JD.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah. Good old days, then, mate. Good old
Straight out of the bottle.
Oh, mate.
Passing it round on the back.
Cigars were out as well, weren't they?
Yeah.
Why
Was
not?
That one when Emil was sick.
No, that was coming back from Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
That was a Middlesbrough one.
And Emil got carted off on the replay. He never used to drink, did he? And he had about half a bottle of
He
champagne.
almost sort of staggered off the bus, didn't
Yeah, he was collapsing. His dad picked him up, Tyrone.
Yeah.
You don't mess with Tyrone. He come up and we were like, Tyrone, just relax, let him enjoy himself. Cup final. He went, Matt, just leave it, man. I was like, okay, Tyrone.
We had that.
Whisked him home.
We definitely had that culture, didn't we? Like where we all like to celebrate certainly after a win.
Martin used to encourage it.
Yeah, we definitely liked it, didn't we? We got on great with everyone, didn't we? Like everyone sort of enjoyed the moment. It was like Martin would say, wouldn't it? Even if you won playing bad, celebrate it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? He would never be.
Oh yeah.
He would never be right. You got to do this better next time. It was never that.
A win was a win.
A win was a win. Let's go.
That's all he was bothered about.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if it was, I don't know, let's say a team who was down the bottom of the league, like Sheffield United or something, 1-0 scruffy win.
And that's what I could never work out when I played for other managers and they would dissect a win.
Yeah.
I'd be like, can't we just enjoy it? Do you know what I mean? I could never work that out because you don't win many, do you?
And you get that buzz about that, don't you? Enzo Maresca, he's similar.
Yeah.
He encourages. So Harry Winks was sitting exactly where you are now, telling us that the players got half told off for not celebrating enough.
Oh, really?
They were frustrated with themselves.
Oh, right.
They could have played better. Can't remember who the game was against now. But Maresca was like, no, win.
That's it.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, too right.
That many times. Well, it happens enough at the moment. But. So another twist, I suppose, on your career. Don't know whether it'd be expected or not, but Turkey comes into the frame.
Yeah.
Excuse me. International football.
Well, I was being touted at the time with England as well. England, Kevin Keegan was the manager.
Yeah, that's right.
And I
Remember?
started off the season scoring quite a few goals. And I had a bit of a purple patch. And people started saying, well, like, Muzzy for England, maybe he deserves a cap. And
Tough competition.
Well, it was. Well, that's another. You've got to look at it realistically then, ain't you? You go, right, okay, let's have a look at the list of the lads that are in front of me. Am I ever going to play even if I get in the squad once?
Which were Gerrard, Scholes, Lampard.
Yeah, I think even people like...
Scholes struggled to get in the team, didn't he? They had to fit
Ince
round him.
Ince was still about, yeah. Gazza was still about.
Right.
Who else was there? But it was, you know, the list was like that, weren't it? Do you know what I mean? And you think Redknapp, but there was all these players that was in front, if you like. And you think,
I'm not saying you couldn't compete with them. You know, you're doing it week in, week out, but it's just getting the nod, isn't it?
Yeah, and did they put a play? And at that time, would they? And it's different, I suppose.
Are they looking at the clubs that these guys are playing?
Yeah, would they?
Yeah, makes a difference.
If you look at it,
you signed with Man U, you get England squad.
Yeah, possibly, yeah, and it would have been a bit different. But at the same time, then Turkey got in touch, and I thought, all right, I'd listen to them and whatever. I think they came down to watch me play against Watford. And then afterwards, they said, would you be interested? And I thought, I'll just see what Kevin Keegan's opinion was. So I've got my agent because I just wanted to keep my options open. And he bumped into him on a train, David Manassi did.
Right.
And had that conversation. He said, look.
We had the same agent, didn't we?
Yeah, we had the same agent. And he said, look at the people in front. And Kevin Keegan was just being like, is he going to really blah, 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 blah. And that sort of made my mind up. So, and I was, you know, thankful that Turkey did. And that was great. You know, it was a weird one because there was national service and all this started coming into it. And I was like, hey.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah, I thought 2 years national service. I thought, oh my God,
You started digging a hole for yourself.
I don't need this. But,
give Kevin a call.
I went to the embassy and they'd done a bit like this, but if you can imagine, there was hundreds of these all round me, and I'm with like the ambassador, the Turkish ambassador in London, with this agent fella trying to convince me to thingy. Cameras everywhere.
Really?
Like I was honestly, it
was the right stir.
Yeah, and it was all being beamed back to Turkey live, and I didn't speak Turkish.
They're
And I didn't
crazy
speak
on
Turkish. So they're all talking amongst themselves, and then translate would say something, and I'm like, I was like a bit of a deer in headlights here, sort of thing. And I'd already made my mind up. I'm gonna play. I'm looking forward. I want to represent Turkey. That got beamed back, and then the first time I went to Turkey to go and play in a friendly. Honestly, you know when you come out of departure and the thingy opens and there's all. It was that. It was like
Seriously,
honestly,
like the Beatles.
It was like Michael Jackson. There's that sort of thing. I've gone. I'm looking behind me, seeing who's behind me like that, and it was this chaos. And I'm like, at the band, I just remember it. And they're all asking me loads of questions. I can't understand too much that's going on. And then that was it. That was how I got sort of.
Have you got someone chaperoning you?
I had someone with me, but he wasn't like fluent in English. Weird thing. You know? It was like he was broken English, trying to say things back to me, and I'm like,
I can't obviously understand the Turkish language,
and it was
barely understand the.
But great,
You can
great.
count to 10 though, Muz.
Oh yeah. I'll save that for later. You're gonna do Gaelic, and
I can do Gaelic.
yeah, he's gonna do Gaelic.
We've all got a little party piece on that one, haven't we?
But yeah, and it was like, obviously I was proud to play for him, and it was tough because of the language barrier again on the pitch. It was hard. You know what I mean? And
any experiences out there that? I mean,
you went to the 2002 World Cup, didn't you? In Korea, South Korea.
Yeah, there's something to remember.
That must have been unbelievable.
It was good, and it was tough because the language barrier was a problem. We went to Turkey for a week, then to Hong Kong for 2 weeks to acclimatise, and then we went to the World Cup. And we got to where we got to semi-finals, and so I was away for about 9 weeks all in all, 8-9 weeks I think it was.
Wow,
which is a long time, and when you're not playing, do you know what I mean? It was like, and you're not getting too much feedback because of the language barrier, and it was hard.
Was there any other players
that
could speak English that you could communicate?
Two guy, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was like, do you want to keep putting yourself on him all the time? Like, I'm like trying to follow him about, you know what I mean? What's what they say? And I didn't want to get on anyone's nerves, so it was quite a lonely time. You know, you're in your room, like your train, have something to eat.
Hard work anyway.
Yeah.
For that long.
And then there's no communication side of it, and you're in Korea. The telephone signals were bad, and all that sort of stuff. So it was tough, and then you didn't know where you stood within the squad because he didn't speak any English, the manager, and it was like it was hard, you know.
It's funny, isn't it? People's impression of it, from a distance on the outside. Yeah, a great time.
Yeah, when I look back at it now, I think to myself, I wish I would have enjoyed it more. But it was tough.
But not easy though for you.
It was tough to enjoy it,
Is it?
But then when I did, because I'm all on the bench and I'm warming up, and I'm like, is he going to stick me on? Nothing.
Yes, no.
There wasn't even a conversation after, like, mate, next time I was looking at this. There was none of that. And then playing Brazil in the World Cup semi-final, and I think to myself, I ain't getting on this game.
Yeah.
So I was sort of just watching the game, and it was like, Muzzy, play on the right. And that was it. And the left back was Roberto Carlos, weren't it? I was like, I think I might run him. I'll push it down the outside of him. Just put me up against the best defender in the world, and
that was bad one. I remember watching it.
Came on for 20.
No, you're right.
I remember watching it. Muzzy's coming on.
I just thought I'll just play.
I did, yeah.
I'll just play around him, give and goes. I ain't going to try and get round the back of him. But no, it was.
But like you said, he's put you on the right wing, hasn't he? The manager?
Right midfield, yeah.
Roberto Carlos. I'm thinking, what's he doing?
I know.
Put him on the right wing
with that team.
Yeah, they was a great team, weren't they? But that's how it was. It was a little bit. So it was a bit like that, a bit unorganised, with the
language barrier.
Yeah, it was a problem. But great time, great lads, great lads. Manager was a nice bloke. Coaches were all good. They were lovely to me. Can't say a bad word about them. It was more me because I couldn't speak their language. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Get involved as
I couldn't have the banter with them. I couldn't do anything with them. The culture was a little bit different and stuff like that. But it was a great experience.
Yeah, I imagine so. All down to Mehmet, eh?
All down to
Slugger.
Slugger, is it? Yeah, Slugger, is it?
Was his dad. It always pops in with that one.
Did you not play for Turkey after after that
Yeah, I
one?
had a few more games.
more games?
Yeah, I had a few more games. Played. It was just. I played against France, and this is when I thought, this is it now. I just can't see me. I played against France. We had a friendly in Istanbul, and a rare start for me. And I thought, right, and I was centre midfield against Zidane.
Yes.
Zidane, Vieira, and Petit. Right, that was it.
It doesn't come any
I was
tougher
like,
than that, does it?
like Zidane played like in a 10 role. They had Henry up front. They had it was the
You're
best.
not going to get on the ball and showcase
But
yourself.
no,
are you?
but like weirdly, I started well. You know, like I had a shot on goal and I got involved in the game. They didn't particularly start well, France. And I thought, oh, you know, when you feel like I'm doing all right here, blah blah blah. Bang! He brings me off before half time.
Oh,
Brought me off for 40 minutes.
really?
Honestly, and I thought that sums this up. Do you know what I mean? That done me a bit.
Yeah.
And afterwards, the press saying, why did you actually was sort of saying, why did you bring him off? Blah 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 blah.
Not even half time.
Yeah, I needed to try something else. You know, if I was playing bad, I would have said, look, Matt, I was having a stinker. But I weren't. I was actually doing all right. It just seemed like, who can I bring off that ain't going to cause any aggro because he's got he can't. No one.
Easy answer.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Right, even that 40 minutes, but I'd be happy to come off against them three.
I was enjoying it though. I was enjoying it. I just remember Zidane, because he's like 6'3" and he's massive, and he's got the ball and he's pinged it, and as he's pinged it, he's looked at the floor as if he's took a divot. He's upset with himself. And I just looked, I was right behind him. I see the flight of the ball was going right to their right, like the right winger, and it was like a missile. I thought, well, if that's a miss kick, you know, there's no hope for any of us. You know what I mean? It was brilliant. It was so good on the ball. Can't get near him.
Hey, but what a time. Oh, listen, you became maybe slightly adjusted to Chelsea, like you're saying, Hullet and Hoddle. So maybe not overawed by going up against players of that ilk, but you know, when you look through your career, the players you come up against.
Yeah, come up with some good ones. Like, you know, Zidane was probably the best, but you got Vieira and Petit, centre midfield players. There weren't too many better than them.
Well, that trio.
Yeah,
that trio. I don't think.
Keane, Scholes, you know, they were brilliant players, weren't they?
So I'm going to bring it back down to earth now a little bit, Muzz, because in between all that, Leicester obviously got relegated first time round under Peter Taylor.
Yeah.
We're in the Championship. We're at the King Power Stadium, which was then the Walker Stadium.
Yeah.
And obviously the club are in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
We're signing players and not paying them back at that stage. Billy McKinley, obviously one of them that didn't get paid for a while.
Badger.
The option.
Yeah, Nicky Summerby.
Summerby.
Yeah.
And basically our backs are against the wall. And obviously it was a successful season. We got promoted back to the Premier League. But you actually managed to get yourself in the Team of the Year that season as well, the PFA Team of the Year. What do you remember about that season as a whole, personally?
I found the Championship, I found it was a big drop, personally. I did. I thought you had a bit more time on the ball, the players you were up against.
All of a sudden, you were running the show, weren't you?
Yeah, I thought, wow.
I'll say it for you.
Oh, well, I just felt it was like, you could feel the drop. You've come down, and you know you'd gone out there, and don't we still had a good team, didn't we? We had good players. Was it Portsmouth that? Was it Portsmouth?
Portsmouth won it, didn't they?
Portsmouth won it, but we was always there, weren't we? I thought Mickey done a good
He did a good job.
He done a good job. Yeah, he done a good job. I like Mick. I thought he was decent, a good manager. But I just
when he's not a manager.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He had to
Agreed.
Yeah.
I love Mickey now. He's a great bloke.
Yeah, he was intense. He
was,
was mad, wasn't he? Old Buzz Lightyear, he went mad when I called him that.
Yeah.
Remember, he wanted to fight me. What I remember about that year was we were brilliant on set pieces, weren't we?
Yeah.
Remember the amount of goals?
I used to do a lot of work on them, didn't we?
We worked loads on them. That's probably the first time we ever
You used
really...
to take them, didn't you?
Yeah, but it was like, you only had to hit an area. Like, can you hit that area? Because I've got all these big lads that can... But the movement was great, weren't it? Everyone, them used up could edit. It was... We scored, the amount of goals we scored from it.
Yeah, it was a good season. But Nice accolade, though. I think it was only you, wasn't it, from our team? We got
that's right.
team of the year somehow, even though we got promoted.
Who else was in it? Can you remember what the other players were? No.
Oh,
Me and you got pied, Tags.
yeah.
We got pied.
We're old school.
No
man.
change there, is
We were
there?
just, we were just on the way down. That was our swan song, that there, mate.
Slippery slope, wasn't it, for us?
No, it's a
That was
good-
our
good
swan
season.
song.
Good season. Do you remember going away? Where did we go? Did we go to Portugal that year?
We used to go to Portugal a
That
couple of
year,
years
'cause-
under Mickey, didn't we?
We had. Remember we had
In like February time.
Portsmouth on the next game.
Yeah,
Remember?
yeah.
It was live on, and he was like, we was all out in Portugal. I said, "Oh, come, Gaffer, let's have a few beers."
Yeah.
Well, a few beers turned into.
Come on, boss.
Let's have a few. Lads need it. We've got Portsmouth when we. I remember saying we've got Portsmouth when we go back. It's the biggest game. Blah blah blah. I said I guarantee we won't lose against them. You can promise me that. I'm thinking, yeah. Just let's have a few beers, mate. The lads got steaming.
Got a bit carried away.
Got carried away.
We didn't lose though.
No, we didn't. We drew, didn't we?
Yeah.
And they needed a worldie, didn't they, from the fullback, Taylor, was it?
Yeah, that's it.
To get back
Last 10 minutes, though, we was hanging, weren't we?
Yeah. Yeah, started off all right.
Legs started going a bit last 10 minutes.
Those couple of
Yeah, a
drinks.
couple of few
taking their
beers
toll.
took its toll on us.
Good times, eh?
Good times all around though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, inevitably, Muzzy, you left. You went to Birmingham.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say, again, you said your contract was out, but what was it like leaving Leicester, where you've been, I don't know, was it 8 years?
It was tough, 8 years, nearly 9 years, 8.5 years, where it was. Tough.
Still stayed here.
Yeah, I travelled, just
travelled
travelled down the M6, 45 minutes, whatever it was. But it was everything about it, the bad luck, like my car breaking down, the car twice on the M6. All these little things, and then I got injured after 10 games, and then it was like someone nicked my car from the training ground.
Did
Yeah, I had all these mad things going on, and then when I'd done my knee, I didn't think it was that bad at first, but the X-ray, I thought, MRI scan, it was bad because my knee was massive. I thought, geez, that done.
You had lots of niggles for your career, didn't you? Your
Calves
ankles.
and ankles, yeah, but never my knee. And I remember doing it and being in agony, and I thought, oh God, this is pretty bad. This. The next day, couldn't get it scanned because it was too swollen, so I had to wait a few days for the swelling to go down a bit. And then had the thing in, it was, oh yeah, you've done what you done, Tags.
Yeah.
That bit of bone that came out there, and it weren't that big. And they said, like, we can work you. I didn't have massive thighs. I suppose that was another thing. Didn't have these big.
Have any thighs?
I didn't have any thighs. No. So it was that as well. And then I thought, oh, that pain's gone now. The swelling's gone down. I get myself fit, and I'm going to be all right. But I just couldn't. So I thought, right, better have it looked at again. And the hole got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it just became unstable. And I couldn't train. So I was. For a centre midfield player, I was training Thursday and Friday, playing Saturday. And then I play Saturday, and then the swelling would be so big, it would take until Thursday for it to be gone.
Not good, is it?
Then I was having it drained,
Yeah, that's not good.
and I was like, God, mate. And then, you know what it's like? The rest of your body starts breaking down. My hip started hurting, my ankle started, my back. And I just could not get myself to a level of fitness without my knee blowing up.
Yeah.
And then, the writing was on the wall. Do you know what I mean?
What age were you then, Muzz?
30. I was 30 when I'd done it. So by the time I tried to keep coming back, I was 31.
Is that where you were?
Yeah, 31.
I thought you were slightly older than that.
No, 31.
Yeah, that's frustrating, isn't it? You got another 4 years at least, haven't you?
Well, yeah, you feel yourself slowing down, don't you? Because the way we played our midfield, we put a lot of mileage in, didn't we? So I could feel myself slowing down a little bit.
Well, I took 2 years off your career. All that running you had to do for me.
No, it's the way we played, wasn't it?
You took 2 years off mine.
Oh,
me
dear.
just standing beside you.
Don't you get involved.
Yeah, and it was, I just couldn't get it right, and I just thought to myself, I remember playing against Fulham, and I was so off it, playing against Danny Murphy, and Danny's a good enough player, but I couldn't get to him, I couldn't track him.
He wouldn't be as mobile as you, though.
I couldn't. No, and that's what I mean.
Under normal
Yeah, and I couldn't. I was just off a yard. and I thought, I ain't going to make myself look an idiot like this. And I got brought off at half time. And I just remember going into games thinking, I'm 80, 75% fit here. How can I compete in the Premier League? I just couldn't. So they wanted me to have another op, and I was like, I took my scans all around London, took them everywhere. I said, look, he said, well, we can drill your thingy and this and that. But the way that you had to play in midfield, you had to be everywhere, didn't you? You had to be box to box.
Your game, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, is it going to... What was it they do, Tags? They drill the thing, don't they?
They hammer it.
Yeah, they hammer it and then let the calcium...
And then the blood recalcifies on top of the bone to heal over the hole that's been made. But obviously the bone strength is nowhere near...
Lazy, inevitable.
Correct.
And with my knee being so unstable and getting bigger and bigger, it just wasn't
Microfracture, innit?
Microfracture, yeah. It wasn't worth it. So I just thought, right, let's call it a day. And when I did, I was like... Because it's like anything, when you're injured for over a year, like your head's gone. And I couldn't get back to where I wanted to get to.
Yeah.
So when I finally sort of called it a day, I was like, right, that'll do me. And then the very next day, Dave Rennie calls me and goes, do you want to come back to Leicester? And we'll give it a go. And I was like, I was in Asda, I'll never forget it. I was in Asda with Carly. With
the baby.
With a baby. Yeah, I was in Asda, and I was like, if it would have been maybe 3 or 4 months later, I might have reconsidered everything. Do you know what I mean? Because
had you officially left Birmingham by
just
then?
left Birmingham, that day,
the
day after. And then Dave Rennie rings me the following day. He said, I'd love to come down, I'll have a look at it. And I was like, Dave, please, mate, I just need to get my head back, But I think about that quite a bit. If it would have been 3 or 4 months and it passed, and I would have my head would have been...
Maybe it's settled.
Why didn't you tell him? You should have told him to ring me in 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, but I've you know what, Tags, I was just like, my knees... He said, oh, maybe we could manage it. You ain't travelling as far. Maybe we can... I was like, I can't.
Imagine that for a comeback.
Thing is, though, when you're not the player you used to be...
Back at the city.
You sort of like...
My head had gone, you know, I just couldn't think of football at that time, and I was actually quite pleased or happy that I didn't have to worry about getting fit, because that's all you worry about, and every day I was waking up, my knee, what is that sort of thing.
No, you did a lot in your career, though, mate, didn't you? You flipping had a good time there. Had a good time.
Well, we all did, didn't we? Made good friendships.
You also learned how to speak Turkish.
Yeah.
Well, I know how to count to 10. Do you want me to say it?
Go on, yes, I'm intrigued by it.
Anton Yediseki Stokuson. Yeah, that's 1 to 10.
Go on, Tags, what's your one? Let me go first, because yours is the piece de resistance.
Yeah, yours is like...
My time in Thailand, I learned how to speak 1 to 10. Nung song sam si ha, hok jet pakao sied. Why is that funny?
Just the way you broke it up into 2 parts.
I can only remember it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go on then, yours is...
No, mine's is obviously growing up in Ireland, being able to count 1 to 10, which is just a small snippet of the Irish.
Go on then.
And also it's a hen a door, a tree, a cara, a keg, a shock the hock the knee joy.
Brilliant.
We were doing it before, but he was like, is he all right? Sorry, shouldn't laugh.
In a roundabout way, that's 1 to 10 in Irish.
It just sounds comical.
We're multi-talented here. We're all multi-talented.
It's in the right order, but it's 1 to 10.
That's not what he said last time. Making up as you go along.
Well, Muzzy, it's been an absolute
Always a pleasure, mate.
Thanks a lot for coming.
Always a pleasure.
Nice one, Muff.
Nice one,
Good
Sol.
to see you.
Pleasure.
Catch up soon socially
Definitely,
as well.
definitely. Game of golf, eh?
Yeah, no, cheers for coming along.
Pleasure.
Always a pleasure with Muff in the house.